movement and get that jab in his face, and of course, get respect of Cruz.
Even though Jose Valenzuela has lost 2 of his last 3 fights, it didn't matter in the end because he was able to stop Isaac Cruz's winning streak since his defeat by Devon Tank Davis. Movement and get that jab in his face, and of course get respect of Cruz early. Pitbull Cruz in the black Valenzuela and Jose Valenzuela in the red glove were able to paste crisp jabs on Isaac Cruz, who continued pushing him back and stopping his miss to throw blows and maintain his fighting technique. Before the outcome of the bout was revealed, Valenzuela declared that he was positive he had won because he had displayed such incredible technique and used his reach to keep the gap against the Mexican who was trying to attack him nonstop. With 14 victories and 2 defeats in 16 bouts, Valenzuela fought like it was his last, putting on an incredible display on the grandest platform to win. Cruz started off in his customary manner, cutting the gap quickly and using his restricted reach to deliver strong body blows to his opponent. Conversely, Rayo Valenzuela continued to attempt to intercept his opponent's incoming jab, but he was unable to make a clean hit. Although Rayo Valenzuela was able to connect with a check hook, Pitbull was unrelenting in his attempts to close the distance and land body shots. What makes Isaac Pitbull Cruz so appealing, besides his boxing style's resemblance to Mike Tyson's, is that he fights by applying constant pressure, which gave him a slight advantage over his opponent in the first round. Pitbull again forced his opponent into the corner and unleashed a barrage of body shots, just like he usually does. Pitbull skillfully avoided his opponent's strikes, showcasing his footwork and head movement. If you love boxing and don't want to miss a bout, Boxing Showtimes is the app for you. It's like having a professional boxing schedule in your pocket and knowing what's going on in the boxing world. You can watch fights in bars while sipping a cold one, and we've got an interactive map that shows you where your local boxing bars are. But that's not all. Make a note of it. Purchase tickets, view the official highlights, download today to receive boxing news and much more. You'll thank us later. Venezuela was struggling mightily to halt his opponent's onslaught, and Ru eventually found his rhythm and was able to maintain distance by using his reach advantage before connecting with an uppercut on the forceful Cruz. Isaac Ru appeared to be searching for a chance to unleash his powerful right uppercut, but to his dismay, Isaac Cruz emerged victorious with a well-placed left-hand finish. Round 3 saw Ru finally settle into the game and start to have more success because he could locate the target more easily. But Pitbull was still the aggressor. Rayo quickly caught his opponent off guard with a 3-punch combination, but Cruz fired back with a left hook that looped. Pitbull was outpacing his opponent and closing the distance with ease when Rayo gives Cruz an uppercut. Cruz continued to close the distance with reckless abandon. This tactic has worked well for him up until this point, which is why many have complained about his style. He typically uses the same style, and while it's good for 26 fights, there should be room for improvement in the case of nights like the one he faced against Jose Valenzuela. It was a close fight overall, with Ru catching his opponent with a 2-punch combination to the body. However, Pitbull scored with a crushing right hook to the head as Valenzuela had his chin out, an advantage Pitbull attempted to maintain later in the bout. As the 6th round approached, Rayo appeared to have found his rhythm and was successfully dodging an overly aggressive Cruz's power punches. Pitbull was being kept guessing by Valenzuela, who was winning the jab battle by stinging his opponent intermittently. Cruz, however, rarely jabs his opponent, which causes him to struggle to close the distance like he did in the first few rounds. In this round, Ru was better at using his height and reach to prevent Isaac Cruz from getting close to him. Rayo performed admirably, appearing to be outboxing his belligerent opponent at this point, but Cruz managed to land a strong body shot, which was insufficient to win the round from Ru the Mexican. Mike Tyson attempted to mount his customary aggressive defense, but Valenzuela appeared to have spent many sleepless nights studying Pitbull Cruz, and his diligence paid off when the bell rang and the outcome was declared in Valenzuela's music favor. Fans started to protest and wonder why Isaac Cruz was such a monotonous fighter who just used his Mike Tyson style of fighting. But he wasn't even doing it that well, meaning he needed some more weapons in his arsenal to make adjustments, because Valencia's moves were so precise. Pitbull Cruz was the more aggressive fighter despite losing some rounds, but he kept failing to connect clean on his opponent. During the middle of his fights last night, all he did was repeat the same strategy that had failed him since the opening bell music rang. Many had labeled Pitbull Cruz as an overrated fighter because his attacking weapons were neutralized. However, Pitbull returned fire with a flurry and played posem as he lured his opponent to engage and surprised him with a flurry of powerful shots. It was evident that Cruz was losing more fights than wins because his aggressiveness wasn't working. Rayo stuck his opponent with a stiff jab to the head. Then P returned with a right hook of his own. Because Valenzuela had figured out how to perfectly counter his offensive, most of his efforts were in vain. Pitbull was attempting to punch his way into range once more, and this time it was obvious Cruz's cornerman must have advised him that he was trailing on the scorecards and that he wanted to improve his chances of winning the fight, if not outright, at least by getting a knockout. Cruz's pace, the Mexican Mike Tyson, picked up the tempo even more, but in a swift turn of events, Cruz was hit by a barrage of body blows from close to the music ropes because of Valenzuela's credible defense, which was preventing his opponent from fighting on the inside. It was a very close round, but Valenzuela concluded it in a way that would make it quite unjust of the judges not to grant him the round at this time. He did this by landing some sharp countershots. Cruz started laying more traps by tricking Valenzuela into the ropes in an attempt to counterattack and close the distance because his aggressiveness wasn't working. However, this strategy wasn't working either. It was evident from Valenzuela's moves and lack of confidence in his ability to shut off the ring that he was not very skilled at doing so. Despite this, he managed to deal with Cruz's pressure during the fight. Rayo's larger bulk was aiding him in jabbing his opponent, and during that maneuver, an uppercut momentarily shocked Cruz. Pitbull came back and finished the round with a right-hand-landed flush foil, but his defense was far too superb as he skillfully sidestepped 5 of Cruz's power blows to complete the bout. Overall, Valenzuela had a strong round. Cruz was getting so agitated that he unintentionally delivered a low strike on Jose Valenzuela. The battle resumed after an inadvertent low strike prompted the referee to halt the bout. Cruz launched an aggressive attack, but Ru ended the round with a clean right hand. At this moment, Valenzuela's power punches were out of this world. Around the halfway point of round 10, Ru looked young and skillful, successfully outwitting Pitbull and stopping his in advance, but big left lands from Cruz to end the round clearly. Jose Valenzuela also won the round as Pitbull saw his admirable style rendered useless in this round. Cruz sensed he needed to win some rounds, hence Pitbull began advancing with reckless abandon, hoping to land a debilitating flurry. Well, he was first lucky as a double right hand landed upstairs for Cruz. Pitbull stings his opponent with a few body music shots. Ru had, however, been largely able to disrupt his opponent's rhythm regardless. An uppercut landed for Valenzuela, and Pitbull returned with a multi-punch. Interestingly, Cruz closed the round strong, catching his opponent with multiple shots to the head only if he had done this earlier. And with that, Pitbull Cruz did just enough to have stolen the round with the last-second flurry. Still sensing the urgency, Cruz was laying it all on the line. He was aggressively closing the distance, landing powerful shots, and just then a big right hand by Cruz stunned his opponent again. Another right connected for Pitbull. Although starting as a strong underdog against Pitbull, Jose Valenzuela was able to fulfill his boxing dream of becoming a world champion on Saturday after Cruz forced his opponent to the ropes with a left-hand right hook combination and looked extremely dangerous as if he was still hunting for a finish. Ru, however, finished the fight with a